I really want this to kind of be a learning experience, okay? So we all know there's 4 different types of learning, okay? You've got visual, auditory, kinesthetic, actually moving, hands-on, and reading and writing, okay? Although I don't see any notes out, okay? But that's all right. But hopefully all 4 of these will be in play today, okay? What's up, man? Come on in. That being said, will you go grab me a marker, a dry erase marker from my office? So when it comes to learning, obviously you have all these ways to learn, okay? And you get all this information coming in. Today I'm gonna shoot you guys a ton of information, all right? The best way that you want to do that to receive that information is you want to kind of compartmentalize all that information that you're processing. So the way that we do that, and my trainers and coaches know, is with cues, okay? So we're going to be using cues. Maybe today some of you will develop your own cues that will help you to remember and put everything that you're learning into practice, okay? And the best way that I like to explain cues is, let's say, I'm going to ask you, okay? You got like 2 seconds to answer this question, all right? How many lines is that? 8. 8? That took you a while, okay? Actually, that was pretty fast. Is it 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Good. But now if I go like this, how many lines did I write? Automatically, she picked it up, processed it, okay? That's what cues are, okay? If you try to break everything down in your mind, you'll be thinking too much, but a simple cue, and we'll be using a lot of cues today, okay, will help you, bam, automatically look and see how many lines I wrote, okay? So that's kind of my little example of cues. So very important that we're going to use cues. I want you thinking of cues and applying those cues as we squat today, all right? And then, why do we strength train? I was having some good conversations with some of you before this, okay? We strength train and we emphasize, okay, the 4 basic human movement patterns, okay? So first and foremost is the squat, okay? Second, the deadlift, okay? Third, the overhead press, okay? And 4th is the bench press, okay? So those are all basic human movement patterns. Squat, what do you do when you have to go use the bathroom? Squat, right? Sit down to eat dinner, you're going to squat. Deadlift, if you ever have to pick something up off the floor, which we all do because we're humans, you're going to have to pick something up off the floor, that's a deadlift, okay? Pushing something away from you, all right? Bench press, lifting something up, overhead press, okay? We also do chin-ups and pull-downs, pulling something towards you, okay? Those are all basic human movement patterns. So when you strength train those movement patterns, okay, yes, you get stronger here in the gym, the weights go up, you're feeling better, but out in the real world, it's going to make you better and more capable in the real world. I've got so many stories of people who, myself included, once I took my strength training seriously, hobbies and activities, yard work that I used to do become so much easier only because I lifted weights, okay? And that goes into the 2-sport factor model is another reason why we strength train, okay? So the 2-sport factor model is this. Strength, there's all sorts of different types of, what am I looking for? Attributes that make a human or an athlete, okay? So obviously we have strength, right? What's another one? What's another attribute that makes up an athlete, let's say? Speed, okay? Power. And power is the ability to display strength fast. Agility. What about endurance, right? Endurance, okay? Another one along the lines of agility is flexibility, okay? I missed balance, coordination, those all sorts of things, okay? Out of all those attributes, strength is the only one that makes all those other attributes increase, okay? So if you have great endurance, let's say, you're a marathon runner, Is that going to make you stronger under the bar? No. Okay? If you do yoga and you're super flexible, is that going to make you stronger under the bar? You may be able to start off better because you got good mobility, but it's not going to make you stronger. Okay? Strength increases your balance. Strength increases your cardiovascular system. Strength will make you quicker. That's why athletes strength train in the off season. Okay? So, out of all the things to train, strength is the most important thing to train and should be your number one focus no matter what your goal is in the gym. Okay? Because it's going to make everything else better. And if you're thrifty like me, you don't like to waste a lot of time in the gym. You want to make sure that what the time and money and effort that you're putting in to exercise, you're getting the most bang out of your buck. Well, strength is where it's at. All right? Any questions on that? All right. So, which leads us to today, which we're going to do the low bar squat. Why squat? In particular, the low bar squat. All right? So, the low bar squat compared to, let's say, the front squat or the high bar squat, all right, is going to recruit the most muscle mass over the longest, and this is important, effective range of motion. All right? So you're going to recruit more of your overall body's muscle mass performing the low bar squat than you would a high bar squat. Okay? Jamar, will you grab that squat diagram for me, please? So, this is what a low bar squat is going to look like. Okay? So, some of you who've never low bar squatted before, it's going to look like, wow, he's really bent over. Okay? His chest isn't up like on a high bar squat. All right? With just the angle of this body position, okay, what do you think you're going to recruit more of doing this squat? Anybody? Right around here, right? Okay? You're going to recruit a lot more. And for this class, we're just going to say hips. And that's going to include your glutes, your abductors, low back. Okay? Posterior, it's going to recruit all of this a lot more than a high bar squat. When you high bar squat, for those of you who've high bar squatted, the bar is higher up on your shoulders, right? And when you squat, you're in a more upright position, right? Because if you bend over too much, the bar is going to roll over on your neck. So you're in a more upright position. Now I just want you to watch my lower half, watch my body angle. What do you think I'm targeting more on a high bar squat? Okay? There's a lot of knee forward movement, right? My chest is staying up. Am I still contracting my glutes? Yes. You're still getting a lot of glute contraction, but you're going to hit your quads a lot more, okay, than you would your glutes, all right? This one, you're going to recruit a lot more of the posterior chain, all right? And the posterior chain is something that most people are really weak at, all right? Those of you coaches, you know. A lot of people that come in that you coach, they got weak low backs, they got weak hamstrings, they got weak glutes, all right? It's because of the modern lifestyle we live where it's very sedentary, we're typing on a desk all day, things like that. So this is going to get those muscles more activated. And furthermore, even people that high bar squat, if you watch the biggest squatters in the world, okay, even if they're high bar squatting, most of them low bar squat, but even if they're high bar squatting, when they're doing that heavy 1 rep max, it turns into a low bar squat, okay? They use their hips because your hips are stronger than your knees and your quads, okay? Got a lot of muscle back here, all right? So, my theory on that is, if you're going to squat really heavy and it's going to turn into a low bar squat anyways, then why not just low bar squat, all right? Not saying there's not a place for high bar and front squats, okay? So, that's kind of why we do the low bar. You can move more weight and you work more muscle. You get more muscle mass used over a longer effective range of motion, all right? And, of course, the last one, aesthetics, all right? So, we talked about that before. You work your glutes, okay? That's kind of cool. You're going to work your butt a lot more, okay? Anybody here do hip thrusts off the floor? All right? There's recent studies out. Brett Contreras, the glute hip thrust guy himself, even did his own independent study. And they all pointed to the same thing, that the squat is far superior for building up your glutes than the hip thrust. So if you like hip thrusts, I guess you can keep doing them, but really, just start squatting, all right? You don't need a hip thrust. So, any questions on what I just covered here? All right. We're going to do a little, I'm going to pick Emily because I want to pick on her today, all right? She's going to be our model, all right? And we're going to go over the way the squat's going to look with no weight, all right? Then we're going to break up into groups and you guys are going to practice. And then we're going to come back and we're going to go show what it looks like with the bar. And then we're going to practice with the bar, all right? So, Emily, come on up here.